Okay, first son, say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Gakadash. I'm your double honor to elders, apostles, and teachers, great millstone for my Lord and truth. Now say shalom to those elect of Israel. I'm going to say this, beware of false prophets. It's something that you constantly go over time and time again, all the time. But that can go to show you the importance of it, because a lot of people are being deceived by these niggas. You know, a lot of these niggas are deceiving the Lord's people. And not only that, but also taking advantage of his sheep. And not telling them what they need to hear in order to prepare themselves for the spiritual battle quickly turn physical. 1 John 4:1, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Yahweh, because many false prophets are going out into the world. And how do you try? I'm going to go back to that, but I'm going to go this really quick. How do you try those spirits? How do you test whether or not these people actually come from the Lord? It's Isaiah 8:20, to law to the testimony if they speak not according to his word. If they speak not according to this word, if the things that are coming out of their mouths in the name of the God that they claim to believe in, if they don't match up with the book of the God that they claim to believe in, that they're clearly false prophets. No, also liars, hirelings. That's another thing. You got a lot of niggas that are hired to deceive the people for a little bit of change, because there is no light in them. And ultimately, the Lord is not dealing with these people. And ultimately, the ultimate test as to whether or not a man is actually a prophet like he says he is time and prophecy. Right? The MOTB being a prime example. With time, you know, you see the whole system being set up. You see the implementation of these experimental chips, being implanted in people. It's literally just one step away, because like you have it being implanted for medical reasons, but it can very easily be optimized for payment, which they already have. Take a look at fucking Sweden. They have people optimize this shit for payments, badges and whatnot. They have this shit in your IDs and badges. All you have to do is just code that shit into the goddamn chip. Very, very easy. But time is going to tell, which it will tell, that the MOTB is mark of the beast. But once again, your life hangs in the balance of the men that you follow. Now, obviously, it's up to the Lord whether or not you survive, but you have a better shot if you're following the correct doctrine, the correct men. Another thing, got a lot of these guys that are doing this for money. We're not doing, GMS is the only, for lack of better terms, group, for lack of better words, prophets, group of prophets that aren't doing this for money. They aren't charging you for all these things. Once again, that's another thing that's in the scriptures. Buy the truth and sell it not. Freely you have received, freely give. Don't make merchandise of the truth, of the Lord's word. We're not doing any of that. But you have all these, and no, this isn't necessarily like, if you follow us, if the Lord, call you to follow us, great. If not, oh well, But this is just a simple fucking truth. And more like more so than that, follow the correct doctrine. Because Lord sent the prophets out to give the message, the correct message to his people. But these niggas, they'd rather lie to you, as it's been proven. For example, Master Butt Plug. That is actually an interesting case, because this nigga was at the head of, well, obviously, nigga was never in it from the start, but this nigga was at the head of a group, and he just left all of them. He let, obviously it's old news, but you have these different examples that serve as just that, examples. The nigga was touted as this great visionary, a great pivotal leader in this space, but the nigga just left. Verse 2, hereby know ye the spirit of Yahweh. Every spirit that confesses Yahweh Shemashak is come in the flesh is of Yahweh. I'm just gonna jump down because there was it must have been John. Okay, John 10:12. I'm the good shepherd. But yeah, 11. I am the good shepherd, and the shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. Like what if I remember correctly, how Shai said to Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. He said 3 times. How do you do that? By giving them that spiritual food, telling them the truth, telling them what they need to hear. And once again, now there was an urgency back then, but now in the last of the last days, you have even more so of an urgency because we see all of these different things that have been prophesied before our time set up. Which gives greater importance to getting the correct message out and pointing out those who want to steal, kill, and to destroy. That applies to Esau, but that also applies to niggas. He's hireling, not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. And seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. And what? That's what you're going to have a lot of niggas do, because what? They're in, they get their money, and then they leave. A prime fucking example is old Master Lord Buttplug. That nigga was in, he got his money, and he fucking bounced. And I don't know what the fuck the nigga is doing, but you're going to have a lot of these other niggas that do the same thing. Crazy shit that they want to do. Try to get a name for themselves. Verse 13, the hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. But you have a shepherd that's supposed to take care of the sheep, provide guidance. If they get out of line, they get knocked back into the path of wherever it is it's supposed to be going. Same thing with the truth. You have the Lord. They gave out his men, which are supposed to serve as what? As guides under him to his people. To give reproof, to give guidance, to give the truth. Come back to Yahweh Shema Shai, come back to your God, come back to your Lord, your Creator. And walk, seek the old paths, walk ye in the way. Walk down the correct path that's going to lead to you not getting devoured by the fucking wolf. You not getting stolen and then filleted and turned into a fucking lamb chop. But then you got the other scripture, mark them which cause divisions. And paraphrasing, to say things contrary to the doctrine. Because you know what? It's also how should I say this? Not only is it taking advantage of the Lord's people and leading them astray, but it's also corrupting the king's message. You know, it's corrupting the words of the Creator, of God, of the King. You know, giving him a bad name. But that's pretty much it. Hope it's edifying. Say all praises, glory, and honor. How about there's another scripture how it says, I think I said it earlier, but make you ready to thy battle. But you know, like I said, the more pressing matter now is Jacob's trouble. Preparing you spiritually for Jacob's trouble. You know, warning you of those things that are going to be happening, and warning you to, you know, about where to go to, who to call on. But you know, it's pretty much it. Hope it's edifying. Say all praises, glory, and honor. How about Shema Shah, about Shem Gakdash, the one to us, pastor teacher, great minister, following truth. Shalom to hope like Israel, and destruction, battle, and great America.